It's crazy that I've been making videos for a few years now, and in that time I've acquired a decent amount of camera gear, and today's the day when I need to get organized. So what I'm attempting to do is try to organize all of this in this Milwaukee Packout tool case. So I chose Milwaukee's Packout system over many of the other things that I saw on YouTube because of my specific needs. If you guys have seen any of my other videos, you know that I'm not really a camera guy, so to speak. My video editing and camera skills are not amazing and crazy by any means. I'm here for the projects, and filming it is just kind of a byproduct. I love the stuff that I have, and I have way too much of it probably, and I just need to find a way to organize it. When I look through YouTube, there's all kinds of crazy ways to organize camera gear stuff. I love the stuff that people are doing where they're organizing it on their walls and they're making crazy decorative, cool things that showcase all the amazing stuff that they have. That's just not for me. My needs are a little bit different. So my needs, I needed something where it was all in one place. I needed to condense all this stuff down into one, hopefully small area, because storage is kind of at a premium here. So getting it all in one place was really crucial. The next thing was I need it protected. I'm taking this stuff outside doing projects. I'm digging ditches and getting stuff dirty. There's all kinds of stuff that this stuff is going through, and I need a nice safe place where I can put this stuff. It's not going to get dusty. It's not going to get dirty. If I drop it, I don't have to worry about it too much. So that was a huge thing as well. And then the last thing is that it needs to be easily transported. The biggest thing is I keep all my camera gear stuff down here in the basement in this office, but with the chargers and everything that I have, but I need to be able to take it upstairs outside to wherever I'm going or wherever I'm working on these projects. So it needs to be easy to transport. Right now, I'm just grabbing all my stuff, putting it in my arms and trucking it upstairs. And some of this stuff's kind of expensive, and I've dropped stuff before, and I want to prevent that from happening. So this Milwaukee tool case stuff naturally kind of stood out. Plus, I may or may not already have an addiction to this stuff. I already use the Packout system for pretty much everything else that I do with my tools, fasteners, materials, and other things that I'm organizing. You can see that I have kind of a specific way that I organize my tools. Maybe not the most efficient way. You could probably fit way more stuff into these tool cases if you just threw stuff in here, but I love how organized stuff stays in here. And when you remove a tool, you have a cutout area, and you can definitely tell that tool's been removed. I know that thing needs to go back. So that process has worked out super well for me, as well as all the different fasteners and screws and different stuff that I have in these. So this is the system that I'm already currently using, and I want to continue on with that and see if I can get my camera gear stored the same way that I have all this stuff stored. To make this happen, there were a few things that I needed. First off and most important was the toolbox. This is the one that I went with, and I purchased it at Home Depot. The reason that I chose this one was because I really like the clear lid. It's really nice to be able to see what's inside of the box, and the camera gear is kind of cool looking stuff, so it's going to be nice to see what's in there, take a look at it, and then also it's really easy to identify what's in this tool case. I chose this one specifically because of its depth. At this form factor and with this clear lid, this is the deepest toolbox that the Milwaukee Packout line has. The reason that I really wanted something this deep was because the amount of camera gear that I had, I knew it wasn't going to be able to fit on just one layer, so I was going to have to stack things and try to do 2 layers to get it to fit all in here. So then the next thing that I needed was the foam inserts that actually go inside the toolbox. And there's plenty of different companies out there that make these, but I found a unique design on KaizenSource.com. Like I said, there's plenty of different companies that make this sandwich design, but Kaizen Source had a design specifically for this toolbox where they knew that people were going to cut away a divider in there. And so they knew that people were going to modify this, so they had a foam insert ready for someone like myself that was going to modify that. I didn't see that anywhere else, and so that's the reason that I chose their website. Plus, they had all of the other tools and accessories that I wanted to buy to help me make these different inserts, so that's why I went with them. As far as other accessories that you need, when I did this project in the past, I used something like this electric foam cutter. And what this does is it basically uses electricity, and it gets warm and it melts away the foam. And I have to say it works really, really well. You put a little depth guide on there so that you know how deep you're going, and you use that, and it basically melts the foam away, and then you rip the foam out. The reason that I'm not using this is because I'm going to do this project down here in my basement, and it's not the greatest well-ventilated place. And when you use this, the foam smells terrible when it's burning and when it's burning and melting. And I'm no health expert, but something that smells that bad can't be great for you, and you definitely want to do it in a well-ventilated area. Yet again, the electric foam knife or cutter, whatever you want to call these things, works great. Not the option that I'm going with this time. This time I'm going to use a set of knives. And there's two different knives or cutters that I bought, yet again from Kaizen source, just because that's where I was ordering everything else from. I have a knife with a really small, thin blade that's going to be really good for the detail work. And then I have another knife that has a really nice, thick, strong blade that's going to be nice for cutting those straight edges further and deeper in to the foam, because I found sometimes that the thinner knife will bend and move, and you don't get those nice straight lines going down in. Having a nice fine tip marker, blue on black, seems like a very good way to do it. And then the last thing that I got was these two spinner tools. So this was something that I didn't have last time, and I wish I did. They are two like little inserts that go into your drill, and they're just plastic little round discs that they call spinners. And what they help you do is they help you separate the layers of foam. So the layers of foam are all glued together, and when you get down to the bottom of your object that you're cutting out, the hardest thing is to rip on a flat layer of foam. And so these things are designed to spin around and just kind of cut in between those layers of foam that gives you a nice flat bottom. Once I had all the stuff I needed to start modifying the toolbox. I did that by first removing all the little plastic dividers that come in there, and then using my multi-tool, I cut out the permanent red divider that's in there so that I could use the entire surface area of the inside of this toolbox. This piece cut out pretty easy. You just have to be careful if you're doing this to where you're cutting it out so that you leave the little ridges on the bottom of the toolbox and you don't have any holes or in the bottom of the box, and you have that strength still built into it. It cut out pretty cleanly, and I thought I was going to be smart and come back with a palm sander and kind of try to sand this down and make it look better. I ended up making it worse. So getting a nice clean cut with the multi-tool the first time and maybe trying a different type of file or something else or a knife to kind of clean that up might be a better way to do it. But overall, I was pretty happy with the way that worked, and it made this toolbox into what I needed it to be. So after the toolbox was modified, this is where the fun part kind of came in, and trying to lay out and figure out where all of this stuff was going to fit into this toolbox. I have two different layers to work with, and so I needed to be strategic about how I was laying these things out, which layer they were going to go on, and trying to figure that whole thing out. And I'll be honest with you, I did this about 8 to 10 times, moving stuff all over the place from one layer to the other, trying all kinds of different strategies. The biggest thing was that I needed the larger items to be on the bottom. I also wanted some of the items that I don't use as often to be on the bottom, and the more frequently used stuff to be on the top layer. So the smaller and more frequently used stuff hopefully was on the top layer, and hopefully the larger and less used stuff was on the bottom layer. But once I came up with the idea that I thought was going to work best, I took pictures of both layers with my phone so that I could document those. I removed all the things from the foam layers and started off with one object at a time. So I started off with the bottom layer, and the biggest thing that I was going to need to put in there, and that was that camera tripod stand. Because of the size of it, I knew I needed to cut all the way through the foam. Not something that I was crazy happy about doing, because it's always nice to have a layer of foam on the bottom, but it was so thick that it was actually sticking up just barely higher than the foam. So I traced that out with the blue marker and then used the larger knife and cut all the way through. And then I just continued that process, following the pictures that I had on my phone, laying out the next largest item, marking it off, cutting it, test fitting it, and moving through. I think something important to note is for some of them, I use the small thin blade knife to cut down just 1 or 2 layers to remove the black and maybe another red layer. Just removing or cutting out that layer and then removing those 2 layers and then test fitting the object to make sure that it fit the way that I wanted it to. Before I went the full depth and not having the item in there the way that I want, so that I could try to adjust that shape if need be. Then once I test fit it and I knew it was going to fit, I could either get the larger blade out and go down the full depth that I needed and remove that foam, or I could use that delicate knife and go down just a few layers at a time. Because some of the objects that I had in here were really nice, where you could cut down multiple layers at a time, set them all the way in there, and it worked perfect. There were other ones like my camera and the gimbal that were very awkward shapes, and so you were removing, 4, 5, 6 layers in one area, and you were only removing a few layers in another area, and so it was nice to chip away at a little bit at a time. Overall, the bottom layer came out pretty well. All the objects fit. You can see that the tripod has to go all the way through the foam there. The larger gimbal here goes almost all the way through. But the big thing that I ran into, or the hardest or the most difficult thing that I ran into, was the area for the Canon camera that I'm actually using to film right now, so that it's not in here. But that Canon camera goes all the way through the foam, all the way down to the bottom. It's a very unique and difficult shape because of the way the lens fits in here, and different parts of the camera are different depths and heights and different things like that. But the biggest thing that made it problematic was that it sticks out of that layer of foam so high. It's really the only object that stuck that far out of the foam, and so it needed to go up into the first layer of foam, and so I had to create a recessed area. So this is what I came up with. And this is the top layer of foam that I'm using. This is the lift out layer. And you can see over here, I've created this recessed area, and it's not my neatest work in the world. Wish I would have taken a little bit more time. But I have this recessed area here and this smaller recessed area here. This one goes probably 4, 5, 6 layers into that top layer of foam. This one over here only goes in the black layer, so it only removes one layer of foam. But this ends up sitting down on top of this. This recessed area here lines up with just the top of that tripod stand, and then this huge area here lines up where that Canon camera fits in. So this was one of the more difficult pieces that I had to kind of figure out between layers 1 and 2, but I definitely wanted to make sure that I got these recessed areas in here before I started working on the top of layer 1, because these recessed areas go so deep into that top layer that when you flip it over, I didn't want to start cutting out objects on the top of this and have them go all the way through the foam. That wouldn't look good, and that's not what I wanted. Then I continued on to the top layer, which was done in a very similar fashion as the bottom. Continued looking at my phone to get the reference of where everything went. Starting off with the larger objects first, putting them on there, either tracing them with the blue marker, or I started using the smaller knife, and I could actually trace around the object with the smaller knife. Then you push on the foam, and it actually shows you where that microscopic little cut is, and you can get your fingers in there and start pulling that foam away. I was very careful to only remove like 1 or 2 layers at a time, test fit that object, make sure they fit, double check myself, and be as careful as possible. I pretty much got everything to fit in here. The big thing that I had to do was avoid the spots going too deep in the areas where I had the recessed areas from the bottom. And then I was trying to use my space as efficiently as possible and keeping everything moved to one side. I have this huge area that I left down in the lower right-hand corner of the top, and that is for future expansion. Whatever I found that I didn't get in here or that I need in the future hopefully fits in that spot. After I had all the major pieces in here, I went around and just any little space that I had left, I started putting areas for batteries. So I have GoPro batteries in a few different areas. I went back down to the bottom layer and put some Canon battery places next to the Canon camera that I have in there. And so just really trying to use the space as effectively as possible. Then at this point, I had pretty much the top layer and the bottom layer done. Everything is roughly in here that I needed to fit in here. I found a way to get everything put in either one of these 2 layers where they would fit. Yeah, I had to do a little recess work on the bottom one to make it fit over top of the second one, but everything was in here and pretty much fit, and that was where we needed it to be for right now. My objects were only roughed in at this point. I was going a little bit faster than I probably should have. I was cutting these rough to shape and then just throwing them in there and moving on to the next point. This is at the point where I went and got the drill and the little spinner tool, and I came back and I removed all of the objects from these pieces of foam, and I went down through the bottom and I just flattened out all of the different recessed areas so that we were on an even layer of foam and these things fit in there really nice. That way when you removed each one of the objects, it wasn't a jagged looking piece of foam at the bottom. It was nice and smooth and it looked intentional, and just put the finishing touches back on everything. The other thing that I needed to do was I was finding out it was hard to get some of the objects in and out, so I cut little finger holes or like these half circles on the top and bottom of some of the objects so that it was easier to get my fingers in there so that I could pull those objects out. And then the only thing left to do was to fit everything in the toolbox. Bottom layer goes in first, and that layer will probably never come out. There's no reason for that one to ever come out. And then putting in the top layer, fits on right on top, like so, and the lid closes without anything hitting. So overall, works pretty good. I'm pretty impressed with this. This wasn't the most difficult project in the world by any means. And I really don't even know who this video is for, who needs to see this. But this was something that I needed to do, or I wanted to do, to help keep myself a little bit more organized. I am really kind of impressed with this or happy about this, because this is a video creation toolbox for me. For any video that I'm ever going to create, all I've got to do is grab this toolbox, go, and I have everything that I know that I'm going to need. One of those things is this little clear box here that you don't even have to remove. It has all the little doodads and GoPro screws and mounts and wires and cables for different things, dead heads for mics. I have extra propeller blades for the drone, all kinds of little things. Even extra SD cards and micro SD cards in case I forget them or they corrupt or whatever, had that stuff happen. So really, once I leave the basement with all my stuff, this toolbox goes with me and I have everything I need. The only one thing that I don't have in here right now is the larger tripod stand that my camera is on right now. That was way too big even when it was compressed to fit inside of here. So maybe making something else that goes on here that clips onto this toolbox that allows me to attach that tripod stand onto here. That might be another future upgrade. Speaking of future upgrades, I left a little bit of a large space over here in the bottom right hand corner for any future camera needs that I may think I need, even if I don't need them. Or if there's anything that I found that I left out that I still need, we might be able to fit that in there and put that in there. And then I guess the other thing that I need to think about is charging. Nowhere in here do I have room for chargers and stuff like that. It's my thought that I'm going to keep all the chargers maybe on a shelf or something down here, and when I go to film something, just pull all the batteries off, put them in their spots when they're fully charged, pack this thing up and go. But maybe they have like the smaller Packout toolboxes, maybe I'll make like a Packout small charging station box thing. I don't know if that's necessary, but maybe it'll be fun to do. So like I was alluding to, I don't know who needs to see this, but this was my idea on my way as a DIY maker person who also happens to make videos, my way of storing my camera gear. I hope you got something out of this. If you like this, or you maybe like what I did here, giving me a thumbs up definitely helps the video and helps me out a lot. If you are interested about the machines that are behind me, what I'm going to use this stuff for, or I encourage you to go look at some of the other videos on my channel and see what's going on. If you want to subscribe, that would be great. Also, please in the comments, leave me your thoughts of this thing. I'm curious. This is the first time I attempted to organize anything like this. I don't know who needs this, or if any of you guys are interested in making something like this, or what your thoughts I could have done better, or better ways of organization this. I would love to hear what you guys think down in the comments, so definitely put that down there. But at the end of the day, I guess I just hope to see you guys in another video.